In the interests of not giving me a huge bloody editing headache, I'm going to just use this footage of World of Warcraft for the entire video, because it's quite relevant footage to what I'm going to be talking about, as you'll find out later on in this video. But what I want to talk about is the evolution of gaming culture and where it is today and where it was when I first started playing games, and how it's changed so much. And is that change for the better or is it for the worse? What's actually happened? What's gone on in the last 25 years or 30 years in gaming? I mean, I want to take you right back to the beginning, when gaming was pretty much an underground nerd culture. I mean, if you even admitted that you played computer games to your drinking mates, you were liable to get a good slapping off them. So I was a closet gamer. A lot of my mates that I used to go clubbing with had no idea that I'd be playing Donkey Kong the next day while I was nursing me hangover. They didn't have any idea that I was like playing video games. My goodness, if they knew, one could not in the UK anyway, I don't know about America, but you couldn't just say, hey, yeah, have you got the latest Donkey Kong? You know, you'd end up with your nose splattered across your face. It was just like not a manly thing to do back in the 80s. You just couldn't do that, you know. So it was, but I had other friends that I could do. I was like a Jekyll and Hyde. I had friends that I could talk about and actually play games with. They'd bring when I got my first PC, they would bring the PC round and we'd connect a serial cable up to the back. It was the only way that we could get out of single player games. We'd play games like Duke Nukem, Command and Conquer, the DOS version. But then you had your drinking mates who you'd all be going out clubbing like a couple of nights a week or whatever. They didn't know. They had no idea. They had no idea that Sunday afternoon I was playing Decision in the fucking desert, you know, trying to beat Rommel, you know, at El Alamein, you know, what the fuck. So the culture for a gamer was a lot different to how it is now. But once the internet kind of came along, and for me that was around about 1994, 95 I would say, that was when everything changed. That was a phenomenon, an absolute phenomenon. I mean, Quake, Command and Conquer, unbelievable. I mean, we were playing these on the internet, online with our 14.4 modems, or I had a 28.8 modem, and you know, you'd connect it on a night time after the calls were cheaper. And you'd be in the middle of an important Quake match, and then your mother would pick the phone up to make a phone call and insta disconnect you. You'd be like, what the f***? You'd get that flashing little icon at the bottom right of your screen saying, you've got no internet, mate. That was a different culture as well back then, because we didn't have anything like it is now. There was not this plague of online cheaters that we kind of get now. We did have a couple, but they weren't really bad. It was just the odd one. In fact, you know, I hardly saw any in all my time in the years that I played Quake, and I played it competitively. I mean, my clan won the UK jailbreak competition. Actually, it was the world jailbreak competition in Quake 2. I organised huge LAN events. Well, not personally, but I was on the team that organised huge LAN events. I visited a few LAN events. Like I say, we hosted some in Scotland. I went down to London. I met loads of the big gamers, and you know what? Nobody kind of celebbed them. There was no even sign of an autograph book. No one cared. But it was great to be just part of that whole experience. I mean, I was just one of the people there. I wasn't the organizer of that, but it was just nice to be on that team. It was a different culture back then. It really, really was. It was a better culture than it is today. It wasn't as toxic, anywhere near as toxic. People just got on with each other. You'd get the odd bit of shit going on in games, people name calling, but nothing like what you get now. And it's just sad to see how it's all changed and how games have changed as well. Then the biggest ever change happened for me, and it's still been the biggest ever change in video games, and that was pretty much the MMO. I mean, it started with EverQuest. When EverQuest came out, it was a different type of game. It was almost like the old MUD games, but this was different. I mean, I also played Lords of Midnight and Doom Dark's Revenge. They were before any of these games. They were just like static screen games, but the premise of the game was very much like what an MMO is. Only it was single player, if you like, but it was in the same kind of setting, big armies, lots and lots of different NPCs and stuff like that. But when EverQuest came along, everything changed. And then City of Heroes for me came along, which totally was the first real big MMO that sucked me in. It was just fantastic. City of Heroes. Played that for a couple of years until WoW came out. World of Warcraft, which is what you're looking at now on your screen. And when World of Warcraft came out, that was the big game changer. That is still the most successful ever MMO, and that changed gaming. It changed. I mean, I lost years of gaming through WoW. Games that were released between 2004 and 2008 just kind of passed me by. I just didn't buy them. I didn't play them, until after, that I was just, every minute I spent on games was in World of Warcraft. It got me addicted completely. Absolutely well and truly into that. And this birthed cosplay. This is where cosplay came. I mean, cosplay was already going in Japan, but over in the West, cosplay was kind of, you hadn't really heard of it. But then with all these, the big rise of the MMOs, we got the cosplay coming in. So the culture changed again. A lot more female gamers came into gaming through the likes of EverQuest, World of Warcraft, City of Heroes as well. We had Star Wars Galaxy, Guild Wars 2 as well. They're all big, and many more that I haven't mentioned. But all of that was all good for gaming. It brought in a lot of female gamers. It birthed cosplay as well, which I'm not really into, but it was another part of gaming culture that was kind of interesting. And then of course the online celebrityism started shortly after that. The first ever face cam video I ever saw online was made by what was he called? Me, that's right, in 2004, and it went viral with over 1 million views in 24 hours. And this was before YouTube even existed. It just went absolutely fucking mental. And it was Doom 3, and a lot of people copied that. And that was, if someone knows of an earlier face cam, then let me know. But I'd never seen one at all before 2004, and that was the one that I did. And we did the Let's Play for Doom and Half-Life 2 as well. And that was with Mesh. That was the Mac and Mesh channel. That's when all the kind of YouTube started to happen. I think it was 2006. A couple of years later we had YouTube, and then all of this stuff started to happen with Twitch and YouTube, and we started to get celebrities, if you like. And this was the beginning of the end of the great culture of gaming. I think this was where I would kind of put my finger and say it all started to go wrong. And it's sad because a lot of the big publishers saw huge opportunities here, because these people, these celebrities, if you like, gamers, were getting so many thousands of people following them that they obviously said, hey look, will you advertise our game for a few £1,000? And the gamers were like, yeah, I'm just doing a fucking paper round, yeah, I'll do it. And so there was the birth of the shill. This is when the shills came along. And then of course, with the online transactions, monetization came along with DLCs at first. And I remember that when DLCs, they had been going a little bit before this, but I didn't like them. I liked the add-ons if they were just like coming out 7 or 8 months after a successful game, because the developers had already released the whole game and they saw it was a success, and so they wanted to build on that with an add-on pack. So that was fine, but the way they abused that by just releasing 3/4 of the game and then the other quarter would be a DLC 3 weeks later, I mean, that's taking the fucking piss. But it didn't end there. It then became with loot crates and in-game stores, the likes of Assassin's Creed, a single-player bloody game where you can actually pay to skip the fucking content, and people do. I mean, what the fuck? The DLCs also split player bases because they had map packs in. Remember Call of Duty Black Ops 4 totally divided the player base between those that have and those that have not. It was just ridiculous what was going on in gaming, and it just got worse and worse, and it's still worse with pre-orders. I mean, you almost need a fucking spreadsheet just to see which version of the game. Not that you should ever pre-order a game anyway, but those people that do, they're just trying to get as much stuff as they possibly can, stuff they should already have in the fucking game. You shouldn't have to pre-order the ultra expensive rip-off edition to get the stuff that should be in the fucking ordinary game. There should only be one version of the game, not 3 or 4, but you see, people have been brought up on this milk and it tastes good to them. It's all they know. They don't know any better. But to people like me, it's sour milk, because we remember when it was a time when you didn't have to have all this exploitation that's going on. And now games are not made to be great. They are made around loot. They're made around microtransactions and DLCs. The whole whiteboard, if you just to use a kind of a phrase, when developers are designing a game now, the whole game is kind of based around how can we make a game that we can monetize the out of. Games that are coming out now in 2019, they're trash. Games that came out in 2018 were trash. Games that came out in 2017 were trash. Yes, you're going to get the odd few that aren't, but the vast majority of games that are coming out, the big games, are fucking awful. It's because of the way the culture of gaming's gone and the standards have declined so much. People have no standards. That's why I did that video, stop pretending bad games is good. And it's because we get so few good games that when a half decent one comes along, everybody's like, oh my goodness, this game is amazing. And it's like, no, it's not. It's just alright. It's just that your standards are so fucking low. It's just an average game, pretty good game at best. And this is where we are in 2019. The gaming industry's full of shills, activists, greedy fucking developers. And this is why it's in decline. And some analysts are predicting, by the way, that 2019 will be the first year in 25 years that gaming loses money. That money goes down. It's constantly, not so much losing money, the money revenue generated by games is actually going to drop this year for the first year in 25 years. That says everything. It should be on the rise constantly, but it's not, because it's bullshit. 40% of females are gamers. No, they're fucking not. You get all this talk about female gamers and how they want to change games to appeal to female gamers. Where are they all? Do you know what? I've got 220,000 subscribers and I'm a game review channel. I think 2% are female. And, you know, that's ridiculous. If there was 40% of gamers are female, where are they all? Why is it that when you play in online games, you hardly ever see any female gamers? When I ever go shopping in the shopping mall and I see the game store, there's hardly ever any females in there. I'll often see groups of 5 or 6 guys walk in, but I'll often see groups of 5 or 6 girls walk past. They're not fucking interested in it at all. And I'm not surprised female gamers get such a bad press. It's bullshit. I mean, look at Twitch. What's all the female gamers doing on there? Well, not all of them, but I tell you what, the vast majority of them are sitting there with a fucking...
The thought police are everywhere. So flowers and love and beautiful things. Flowers, love and beautiful things.
It's all fucking bullshit. It gives female gamers a bad name. I mean, my girlfriend's a female gamer. She hates all that. She hates the image that female gamers are getting. And people like Twitch, who are supposed to be for the gamer in this big, oh, we don't condone any of this, that and the other. They're happy to fucking have female fucking gamers on there who have got the
flowers, love and beautiful things.
It's all money to them, isn't it? Because they'll have 2,000 or 3,000 little fucking wankers watching them go,
flowers and love and beautiful things.
And I would love to see more proper female gamers coming into games. Why wouldn't I? I'm lucky I've got a girlfriend that plays games. I can play games with her. But there's a lot of guys don't have a girlfriend that plays games because girls aren't encouraged into gaming. So there's a lot more that can be done by these hypocrites who say, oh no, you can't do this, that's not right. But they'll take the fucking money off the people who are just flashing the
flowers, love and beautiful.
So yeah, gaming culture has changed a lot, and unfortunately it's changed a lot for the worst. And in 2019 the culture of gaming is an absolute mess. We have no standards anymore. Game reviews are a joke, the scoring system's a joke, and honestly the whole industry's in absolute decline, and it needs to change. It really does. People need to get some standards, stop pre-ordering games, and Twitch need to get their fucking act together and start getting rid of these bloody women on there who are giving female gamers a really bad name.